Hi, and welcome to Wow Talk. I'm Donna Cappuccitti, a thriving cancer survivor.
And I'm her naturopathic doctor, Darlene Gustin. We're here to encourage, educate, and empower you on your journey to optimum wellness.
Hi, and welcome.
Welcome.
So, Dr. Gustin, why are you painting your new clinic jet black?
Well, it's not going to stay that way.
Okay, I've been wondering. All right.
So that's special paint to shield the practitioners and the patients from electromagnetic pollution.
Okay, can you elaborate on that? Are you talking about Wi-Fi signals?
Yes, I am. All this wireless stuff concerns me greatly. So there's all kinds of signals in the sky and, 5G, 3G, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. Am I missing anything? Like I think we're underestimating this, and I have growing concerns about that. And since I'm building a new clinic, I thought, okay, if I've got the opportunity to build in this feature to my clinic, I want to build my little cave of the no-fly zone where there will be relief to our body from all these signals that are going through our bodies.
That's really interesting. Now, these are different signals than, once again, television, radio.
All those signals.
All of those.
Right?
Oh, okay. So you're talking about it all. Okay.
There's different
so not
wavelengths.
Just the internet signals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, wow, that's, I want to say it's really progressive of you, yet I don't think that's the right word because you're kind of going back. You're going back a bit, in a way to try to limit all that. And so, what are you going to do for Wi-Fi? What are you going to do?
Well, we're going to plug into the wall the good old-fashioned way. So I will still be able to use Wi-Fi. Sorry, not Wi-Fi. I can have a computer in there.
Okay.
And so, and by the way, those walls are not going to stay black. So there's different kinds of paint to block out different kinds of radiation. So it depends on the location, which paint you would buy. But it is black and it's got charcoal in it. So it really is jet black. And you've seen my pictures on Instagram, right?
Okay, yes.
And so you paint the wall black, and then there's a special electrical tape that you stick on top of that all the way around all the walls, and then you ground it into an electrical outlet to sponge up and remove all that static electricity. And then once that's all set up, then I will put primer and paint it, and the clinic will be white.
Okay. As any good clinic should be.
Yeah.
No. Wow. Okay. So that is really, really interesting. And I like that.
Yeah.
I like that you're doing that.
Yeah. So sometimes when I'm talking to my patients on the topic of electromagnetic pollution, I tell them a little case scenario. And so you and I are sitting here, and imagine we're sitting here in between Toronto and Hamilton, Ontario, Canada,
yes.
Right? So there are people communicating from Toronto to Hamilton.
Yes.
West of the city.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there are people in Ottawa talking to people in Florida. And all these signals are going through our bodies. So if there's someone in Ottawa talking to their friend in Niagara Falls on a cell phone, let's say, there's a guy in Ottawa whose cell phone signal took his message through highways, fields of cows, moving traffic, how many condos between Ottawa and Niagara Falls, including Donna and Darlene's bodies on the way there. Imagine the power of that. Now multiply that by the volume of population in the Greater Toronto area and how many signals are going through your body, north, south, east, west, and those signals traveled through how many highways and condos and forests and fields of cows to get from person A to person B. It's actually mind-blowing.
That's what I was just going to say.
Right?
Oh, my goodness.
There's nowhere to hide.
No.
Right? So yeah. And I recently came back from hiking in the Rocky Mountains in Alberta, and I missed the opportunity to take a photo of the best street sign I have seen on my life on the highway driving into Jasper.
What was it?
It said, warning, no cell phone signals for the next 230 kilometers.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of scary because if you get,
Uh-huh.
an encounter with a bear or a moose, your cell phone doesn't work and nobody can come and find you because you can't call anybody. Your car
No.
breaks down in the middle of the mountains and forest. You're on your own. So
But that's what happened in 1985. I think
exactly.
that one of the last times I went out that way, and we didn't have any cell
Yeah.
phones.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing. I don't even know how we ever met up with anybody. We just had to be on time and go to the place we said we were going to meet.
I know.
That's how it used to be. So could you tell us, what is the danger of all these signals?
Well, the most vulnerable organ in the human body to electromagnetic fields would be the thyroid. So we know when there was the disaster at Chernobyl, there was a lot of damage to people's thyroids, and there were a lot of birth defects and things like that. And that's a very exaggerated example. But we live in a part of the world where we've known for decades that there's a lot of heightened incidence of thyroid conditions in the Great Lakes area and the Canada-US border. And we've known this for decades. And decades ago, they thought maybe it was just the iodine. Let's put iodine in their salt. And that made a difference for a while. But we eat less salt than our parents do. So now thyroid is still a problem. And over the time of years that I've been practicing, for the first 10, 15 years, I saw overall a consistent 30% of my patients were showing signs or symptoms of diagnosed or what I call lazy thyroid. And then about 10 years ago, it suddenly jumped to 80%. And it alarmed me. And I talked to my colleagues. I talked to the labs. I looked at the research. I thought, was it Oakville? Was it Ontario? Was it Canada? Is it global? And I saw this huge spike in thyroid in my patients from 30% to 80% and quite suddenly. And I never actually found an answer. I thought maybe there's a nuclear disaster I hadn't read about. Maybe there was a chemical spill in Lake Ontario that I hadn't heard about. And I never found an answer. And the only thing, I have my theory, and my theory is that's when everything went wireless. That's when every 10-year-old got a cell phone. That's when the TVs became large screen. That's when your car became a cell phone too.
Yeah.
And so that's what really alarmed me. And that is the reason I am blocking my new clinic from electromagnetic fields.
Wow, that is great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you spend so much time in there
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. You're making it safe also for your patients.
Yeah,
like me.
and it feels good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
actually I had visited an osteopath in town, and I happened to go into her clinic, and I had never been there before, and I went into her personal office and the whole thing was black, everything including the ceiling. And she had to step out for a minute to deal with a patient, and she comes back into her office and she says, I know. You're wondering why I've painted the whole office black. And so she got me onto it. And her first profession is in engineering. So she has a background in electrical engineering, and then later in life became an osteopath. So we had a lot of conversations, and now I'm the second weirdo in town who's done this to her clinic. And she had also a device, a Gauss meter that measures electromagnetic fields. And she said that during the course of time that she was in her office, at some point they had put a cell phone tower in the parking lot. And she showed me that in her office and in her clinic, her little EMF reader was scoring in the normal range. And as soon as we opened the front door and stood on the sidewalk outside of her clinic, the machine went nuts. It was like beeping. It was in the red zone. It went nuts. And I thought, wow, if people only knew. I mean, people don't know because they don't feel it.
I was just going to say, we don't see it. It's not like there's a smog that goes by and we go, oh, there's a swarm of electromagnetic field signals, or whatever.
Yeah, so it's not common knowledge, and people are so enchanted by the use of cell phones and wireless technology, and we'll know the risk as time goes by. But that doesn't mean that there is no research yet. I mean,
Yes.
there are countries in Europe that, ban cell phones in school and have done research ages ago, 10, 20 years ago, where they were taking pictures of MRIs. Like, I never, ever, have you ever seen me use a cell phone put up to my head?
No.
No, never. I'm like Miss Speakerphone.
Yes.
That if I have to use my cell phone, it's like as far away from my body as I can hold it. And it's because I can actually feel it. I can feel my head vibrating if I put it on my head. But I know of studies where they've taken MRIs of the brain using a cell phone and not using a cell phone, that it heats up the brain. And,
wow.
And if it's a child, that's a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal for everybody.
Yes.
So it could affect ear health. How does it affect the brain with time? I don't know. Is that why everybody's getting dementia now?
Really good point.
Right?
Really good point. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there were other studies back in the day with the more primitive cell phones, that the police officers would have their cell phones in their pockets. And there was a big rise of testicle cancer in police officers, and they related it to them carrying the device in their pocket.
Yeah. I was going to mention that. Not quite that study, but I had heard about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or people getting brain tumors that were holding, from and not knowing for sure, but hearing someone say, oh yeah, so-and-so got this. And they think it's because of the cell phone use.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was on the early days, in the early days for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of my male patients, I noticed they'll put it in their shirt pocket if they have a pocket. And I go, you sure you want that over your heart, the biggest electrical organ of your body? Or people who have a pacemaker. Are you sure you want that over your pacemaker? Right?
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what would you say? What could we do? I mean, there's no real line of clothing or anything we could wear, although there should be.
There is, actually.
Oh, there is? Oh my gosh. I was just going to say, I think there's a market there for somebody. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's a whole world of EMF products out there. So you can get curtains, you can get hoodies, you can get hats, you can actually get building materials, which I've purchased, and clothing and gadgets that stick to your cell phone. Or
yes,
I have
you've given me one.
Yeah. So I have also one in my bedroom that is plugs into the wall, and it absorbs radiation from the Wi-Fi, because my bedroom is close to the electrical panel and things like that. And so I think about these things. So I had implemented things like that in my life before buying my little Gauss meter, but now I have a Gauss meter. Okay.
Oh.
So I went and did readings at home and at work. And one thing that really shocked me, I live in a home that was built before I moved into it. So it came with the kitchen, and it came with a microwave that I don't use. I never use the microwave, but it's there. Mm-hmm. And I thought I would, and it's an older microwave, and I thought I would turn the microwave on and measure the radiation. And it was actually not that bad, unless you were like within inches of the device itself. My little machine did not register a red reading. But where my office is now, it's a brand new build, brand new construction, and it came with a shared kitchen for the building. So, and there's a microwave.
Yes.
So I thought, I'll test the new microwave. You can't go within 2 feet of the brand new microwave without the amount of radiation going into the dangerous zone, dangerous for your health reading level. Okay. So there's a lot of electrical field that comes out from behind a computer. So when you're standing in front of a receptionist, or for instance, if you had a stove or a fridge backing onto your office, and your desk is right behind the fridge, right behind the stove in the other room, there might be some radiation there. Yeah.
That's wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So much to think about now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a new topic, up and coming. There's more to know on this one.
Okay, so stay tuned.
Definitely stay tuned.
We will share whatever we find, any updates, and I'll have to look into that line of clothing now. And well, thank you. Is there anything else we should mention, or just
no? I
stay
think
tuned?
I've scared them enough.
I think so. You've scared me enough. Anyway, on that note, thank you very much for listening, and send us your questions.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.